What is going on? I am Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I will be recapping the Jets' dominant win over the Carolina Panthers. I'll talk about things that stood out to me. We'll go through drive-by-drive notes. Really a fun time. For the first time I've ever done this, it was really a blast on Talking Jets channel. So if you're not subscribed over there, please do. I was live for the entirety of the game with Jeremy from Jets Lounge, Jets Chaos. He is a ton of fun. It was great having him on to do the live stream with. No green bean today, and Ryan just had baby number 2. So it was me and Jeremy, and we had a blast. I had a really fun time doing it. So shout out Jeremy. Subscribe to him if you're not already subscribed to. All right, so Jets start with the ball, and one thing that stood out to me that was a little bit bizarre is Mekhi Becton did not get the start at left tackle. He started last week. Instead, it was Billy Turner getting the start, and he played about 2 series, and then Mekhi Becton would come in after that. But let's start with this first drive. The Jets actually moved the ball pretty well. You had a nice Zach Wilson pass on 3rd down to Conklin. Just get the ball out of his hands quickly. Boom, pick up the first down. Bam Knight almost had a fumble, which it ended up, it was originally ruled a fumble, but then it was reversed and came back. So that was definitely a plus. We don't want to necessarily see a guy lose a fumble. You had a 3rd and 2 dump off to Michael Carter, which was good, and then he picked up a bunch of yards. Michael Carter was very, very impressive today in both a rushing attack and a receiving. At the end, we'll talk about the stat lines, and I'll give you some of the numbers. Unfortunately, the penalty really ended this drive. The Jets were moving the ball well. Connor McGovern got a tripping penalty, and then that set up, it was like 2nd and 20 after that, and that pretty much killed the drive. So the Jets settle for 3 points. You had, for the New York Jets defense, what a dominant effort all day long, but Solomon Thomas got the quarterback hit on Bryce Young. And you also had Bryce Huff beating Ike Ekwonu pretty badly, and pretty much they picked up 1 first down, and then the Jets forced a punt. So really not a whole lot going on for the Panthers offense, which would be the theme today, as you might have already known, as they were shut out. They did not play very well offensively. Next up, next possession, Michael Carter picks up 9 yards on the little dump off. I like that. Very good. They had some nice run blocking as well, opening up tons of lanes today, which was nice to see. On 3rd and 2, unfortunately, you'd get a high pass from Zach Wilson. If the ball was put on the body, chance that they pick up the first down, but it was high and contact was made with the receiver. I believe it was Bam Knight at the same exact time as he was going up to get the football. So I didn't really love that. But you would get an absolutely phenomenal Thomas Morstead punt. Pinned him right down to the 1-yard line. Having special teams as good as what it was today, and just in general so far for the Jets in training camp in the preseason, it matters. That's the little things that is the difference between winning and losing in the National Football League. Special teams. Ask Aaron Rodgers if special teams played a factor in their game against the San Francisco 49ers in the divisional round a couple of years ago. It absolutely does. That was the difference in a game, in a playoff game. That stuff matters. Having a punter who is as capable as he is, having a kicker that has been pretty much automatic and was very good for you last year is really, really good. So, great punt by Morstead, as we said, pinned him deep. They don't really do anything offensively as they were put in a really tough spot, so the Jets get the ball back. You would see Mekhi Becton enter the game, and it would look like there was a rusher between Becton and Cologne, so both guys got beat on 3rd down, a big sack for Zach Wilson. I would think that's more on Cologne because, the reasoning behind it, they are sliding to the left in the protection. And I think Becton was going to go for whoever was coming further on the outside. And it kind of just looked bad, like a miscommunication, because he blew right through the guys. But I would assume and imagine that that was the guard's responsibility to pick him up. Nonetheless, still didn't look great as the one guy just kind of split the gap and right up the middle. On the next possession, you would get a Quentin Jefferson sack. And that was pretty much the end of the day for Bryce Young. He had 3 possessions and did not really do all that much, as the defense was really, really good. All levels, whether it was from the start of the game all the way to the end, the defense impressed me. You also had a phenomenal run stop from Jermaine Johnson on 2nd down, who made his presence felt both in the rushing attack and as a pass rusher. Next possession, Bawden was called for a holding, which brought things back and made things a little bit more difficult, so the Jets had to punt. Then the highlight of the next possession, Will McDonald comes away with the sack. Phenomenal. I love to see that from Will McDonald. The Jets used a first-round pick, a little bit of a controversial pick at pick number 15. He's been very impressive through 2 preseason games. Yes, you have to consider the competition that he's going against, but still, you want to see him play well against these guys, and he is doing just that. On the next Jets possession, the Jets would get points. They would settle for 3. You had a nice Izzy run and then a big play on the screen pass. Izzy Abanaconda, good stuff. He looked good today. Jeremy Ruckert gets a reception, picks up the first down on a little dump off that he takes up the field. On third down, there was an attempt for Jason Brownlee, but it was a good defensive play, so that's where the drive would stall. It was a good ball from Zach Wilson, too. You couldn't really put the ball anywhere else. It was just a nice play from the defender coming around the body and knocking it away. So nothing doing there. They settled for 3, so at this point, it is 6-0. Next possession, you would get JJ and Huff with a sack. They pick up the half of the sack, forcing the Panthers to punt. Last drive of the first half, it was a good one. The Jets went down the field. Izzy was running the ball well. And then on the screen pass, there was a lot of heavy usage of the screen, which I'm okay with. They didn't ask Zach Wilson to do a whole lot in the first half, but it worked out. And then you had that spin move from Izzy Abanikanda. Like, this is the explosiveness and the reason why he went so early in the draft. He goes down to the 1. Zach Wilson throws a touchdown pass to Kenny Yeboah to end the half and put the Jets up 13-0 at the half. Here is the final Zach Wilson stat line: 14-20, $123, which is 6.2 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and a 102.7 rating. I thought he looked much better in this game than he did in the first game, and it's incremental progress. Again, not saying he is ready to start again in the NFL, not saying that he is salvaged, that he's saved, none of that. But looking through the lens that he needs to be this team's number 2, he kind of proved that to me today. He played like what you would expect a number 2 quarterback to play. Didn't do a whole lot, took what the defense gave him, and really my only gripes with him was a couple of high throws. There were a couple balls that could have been put in a better spot on third down, which would have maybe potentially extended drives or at least given you a little bit more. But he completed 70% of his passes. Like, I'm not gonna kill the guy. He was solid today. Was he amazing? No, I wouldn't sit here and tell you he did amazing today. Did he stink? Obviously no. But I thought he was pretty solid. I thought Zach played a solid QB2 game. You will absolutely take that. Second half, the Carolina Panthers start with the ball, and you would get Bruce Hector, who they just picked up from the XFL with the strip sack. Love it. New York Jets get the ball. Becton would stay in at this point. He ends up playing 25 snaps. That's what he ended up finishing with, was 25 snaps, which is a number the Jets were hoping he would get to. And then Robert Saleh spoke with him and took him out of the game, so they were satisfied with his snap count from today. And then you just had the Jets had great field position after that strip sack. Tim Boyle had a disgusting interception. Gross. Just the ball was not even remotely close. Wide receiver turned around and stopped. He threw it much further to the left. It was picked off. But made a nice tackle, though. I will give you that. He's not going to make this team as QB2. Maybe he sticks around as QB3. But anyway, some other notes here, as there is just really a few things at this point in the game that I wanted to point out. Zaire Barnes was very, very noticeable. He had a nice tackle on a screen pass here in the game that I thought was worthwhile to highlight. He had a ton of tackles. He finished with 8 tackles on the day, 7 total, and 1 tackle for a loss. Again, I thought he was very, very noticeable in this one. McDonald had a nice QB hit on 4th down, forcing an incomplete pass from Matt Corral. He sailed it. So the Jets turn over on downs. They pick up a 4th and inches off a Boyle QB sneak, and an EJ Jenkins touchdown puts the Jets up 20-0. Then it became the Travis Dye show towards the end of this game. He ran really well. He picked up 15 yards on a 3rd and 14 screen. He ran the ball really well. Again, put up really big numbers. And eventually the Jets would convert on this long drive with the Zach Kuntz touchdown, 27-0 Jets, which would be your final score in this one. The Jets win 27-0. And I know it's a preseason game, and we're not going to victory lap a preseason game, but there are things to like that you saw from this one. Zach Wilson had a pretty solid game. That matters. Izzy Abanikanda, 12 carries for 56 yards. You had Travis Dye, 10 for 32. His numbers ended up coming down as he was, kind of on the goal line and getting stopped a couple of times. Michael Carter, 4 carries for 19 yards. Was impressed with how he looked. That's 4.8 yards per carry. Izzy was 4.7. Bam Knight had 4 carries, 13 yards, 3.3. But receiving, you had Carter 2 for 34, Izzy 3 for 31, Dye 3 for 25, Yeboah 2 for 23 and a touchdown, Kuntz 2 for 17 and a touchdown. Wide receivers not very involved. They were very heavy using the tight ends and the running backs, which is something that they are going to do much more frequently with Nathaniel Hackett and this coaching staff. So overall, I think you have to be satisfied with this Jets win and just what you saw from this game. Yeah, at times in the first half, the offense kind of stalled and wasn't great, but 13 points in the first half, and that Zach Wilson stat line that he finished with, and Michael Carter and Mekhi Becton playing the right amount, number of snaps. I want to go back and look more at Joe Tippmann and see how he did on a second watch, but overall, I was pretty satisfied. Sound off below your thoughts. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll catch you next time.